IMSA's event at Road America in 2023 is now complete, and it was a total success. Just to let you know, there are spoilers on the race results to Road America, as in this video I'll be diving into those details. But yet again, we have another GTP entry that has taken their first victory. Porsche Penske Motorsport were on top at Road America. The number 7 Porsche 963, driven by Matt Campbell and Felipe Nasr, was victorious. But how exactly did Porsche take victory here at Road America, especially since they had a difficult start to the weekend? So for this video, I'm going to talk about how Porsche went from 0 to hero at Road America in 2023. For the second time this season, Porsche Penske Motorsport are victorious in IMSA's WeatherTech Sports Car Championship. That 963 is really developing well, considering that they had a pretty difficult start to the season at the Rolex 24 to now be in contention for regular race wins and podiums every single event in IMSA's GTP class. On the topic of pace, Porsche have arguably been one of the most consistent, alongside Acura, at staying in the front of the field. You look at the races such as Laguna Seca and Watkins Glen, and now maybe Road America, and those tracks seem to favor the Porsche 963. Porsche actually have the most wins at Road America across the ALMS and IMSA championships. Before 2023, their last win came in 2007, when the Porsche Penske RS Spyder took victory. Porsche now extend their lead from 10 wins overall to now 11 after winning in 2023. But the fact is, Porsche didn't just show up and instantly dominate GTP. No, they actually had a difficult start to their weekend. Porsche was struggling for pace in the free practice sessions. In FP1, Sebastian Bourdais set a 149.538 in his Cadillac V Series R. The nearest Penske Porsche was down in 8th, 1.8 seconds behind Sebastian Bourdais' lap time. And in FP2, they were a second behind the fastest time in that session. And to make matters unfortunately worse, Mathieu Jaminet put the number 6 Porsche into the wall, which resulted in front nose damage. The team thankfully repaired the entry, but it was definitely a setback for the number 6 car. So Porsche's weekend seemed to not start out great, but how do they convert their pace from practice into fighting for pole position in qualifying and eventually a great result in the race itself? Well, there are two scenarios I can think of. One of which is that Porsche were hiding their pace all along, and they were testing different systems in the practice sessions, and then released their pace in qualifying and eventually the race. Or Porsche was gathering data from practice and then found that pace in qualifying. Either way, Porsche converted their results from practice to fighting for pole position in qualifying. Matt Campbell put the number 7 Porsche in second position, just 6 100ths behind the number 31 Action Express Cadillac, which took pole. The number 7 Porsche was supposed to start in P2, but the number 31 Action Express Cadillac crashed in the early morning session. And also, while we're on that topic, shout out to the Cadillac Action Express crew, who did an amazing job to repair that car and get it back into the race. But according to the rules, the number 31 Cadillac was forced to start at the back of the GTP field, meaning it would lose pole position, meaning the number 7 Porsche would be elevated to pole position. The last time the number 7 Porsche started on pole position was at Laguna Seca, and that event just didn't go good for the 7 car. A lockup at turn 1 and further bad luck throughout the event meant that the number 7 car would not finish in the top 10. With the reminder of Porsche's disastrous turn 1 at Laguna Seca, the hope was this would not repeat here at Road America, and thankfully it didn't. From pole position, Matt Campbell in the number 7 Porsche put his foot to the throttle and raced away from the rest of the GTP field. That start was exactly what Porsche needed if they were hoping to win this race. The number 7 Porsche pulled ahead of the 01 Cadillac and led into turn 1. And by the end of the corner, Campbell had already got the car ahead by a few tenths, so the Cadillac could not get past on the next straight. By the end of the lap, Campbell was a second ahead of the nearest GTP entry, and even though a caution came out because of the number 25 BMW stopping out on track, Campbell was continuing to lead the field. With 40 minutes down, he was around 7 seconds ahead of Sebastian Bourdais in the 01 Cadillac. Porsche was dominating at Road America. Okay, so at this point in the race, obviously the number 7 Porsche was on fire. Campbell was incredibly consistent at pulling away of the rest of the GTP field, and the fuel and tire strategy was working out as well. But I'm sure many of you are asking this question. Was the number 7 car the only Porsche 963 that was quick? Or did Porsche in general have pace here at Road America? Well, I would say it's a bit of both. The number 6 car was obviously not as fast as the 7, but it was still quite competitive. For a certain stage, the 6 car was battling with the MSR Acura and the 01 Cadillac for the podium, and the Penske Porsches were not the only cars running well. The number 5 JDC Miller 963 was also quite competitive. That car was running really strong, and was fighting for a position with the number 10 Acura and number 24 BMW for around 5th position. At a certain point in the race, I honestly thought they had a chance at an overall podium. And I'm not going to count Proton Competition's 963. Even if Porsche had the fastest car, they still would not be as fast as the rest of the entries because Proton Competition just made their debut in IMSA's GTP class with this car. I think they need to continue to grab more data by participating in more events before they can be more competitive in IMSA's GTP class. But like I said, I think it's a bit of both. Even if Porsche had the fastest car at Road America, the number 7 crew was just ahead of everybody else in my opinion. I'm going to quote now on a conversation with Porsche number 7 driver Matt Campbell. He had this to say on Porsche's performance at Road America. I feel like our pace was really good. I was looking after the tires as well, and I was just quite comfortable out in front, slowly chipping away. I think we got really lucky with traffic. That's why the gap looked so big at times, because even I was surprised just how easy it was to get through. So for sure, it made our race, especially at the start, quite a lot easier. Overall, the whole number 7 crew was performing at a high level throughout the entire race, and that's exactly what you need in endurance racing: consistency. After Matt Campbell built up a good lead in GTP, he climbed out and Felipe Nasr climbed in. The team performed an incredible pit stop. Campbell performed an incredible stint in his time in the number 7 car. But when Nasr jumped in the car, he proved that it wasn't just Matt Campbell that was performing well in the Porsche number 7 car. Nasr would ultimately prove that he was quick as well. Okay, so obviously Porsche was running strong here at Road America, but the number 7 car eventually became under threat, especially in the final 30 minutes, from Acura's number 60 MSR car. Meyershank Racing was fighting back against Penske Porsche, performing perfectly executed pit stops and raw speed, especially in the hands of Tom Blomqvist. Blomqvist was hunting down Nasr in the number 7 Porsche. So even though the number 60 Acura seemed to have better pace than the number 7 by hunting it down every lap in the final 30 minutes, Nasr was still very consistent in the 963. Traffic became a critical moment in this race, and Nasr put foot to the throttle, calculating perfect maneuvers around the slower entries. And personally, I think traffic was the deciding factor on who would win this race, because both Acura and Porsche brought incredible cars to Road America. I personally think when Tom Blomqvist was held up by the number 9 Pfaff Motorsports Porsche GT car, that is what decided this race. So even though it was a very intense final few laps of this race, Felipe Nasr was able to keep the gap big enough for the MSR Acura to stay behind, which meant Felipe Nasr brought the number 7 Porsche to victory lane as he crossed the line to take the number 7's first win in IMSA's GTP class. A fantastic victory for Porsche in general. Throughout the weekend, for sure they had competition, especially from MSR Acura and Action Express Cadillac, but they were clearly the favorites to win this race once it got going. And I think the word that sums up Porsche Penske Motorsport's victory here at Road America is consistency. They were super consistent throughout the race on fuel, on tires, on pit stops, on stints in general from Matt Campbell and Felipe Nasr. Traffic was also a thing, and they got pretty lucky with that as well. And so I think Porsche really deserves this one for the performance they put on with the number 7 car. So after that result, Matt Campbell and Felipe Nasr moved the number 7 Porsche into 7th position, just 21 points behind 5th place in the GTP standings. So there you go, that's an in-depth analysis on how Porsche Penske Motorsport won Road America in 2023. What did you think of the number 7 Porsche's commanding victory in IMSA? And more importantly, do you think that Porsche in general can continue this performance that they showed at Road America into future events in the IMSA GTP class? Of course, let me know your thoughts on this video's topic down in the comments. Thanks for following along. If you want to see more endurance racing content, especially on IMSA and WBC, make sure to hit the subscribe button to the left. Also, check out one of the suggested videos I put to the right of your screen. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.